Good morning, dear friend. The morning air is still, carrying the faint coolness of night as the first brush of dawn paints the sky with pale gold. The world is quiet, almost holding its breath, and in this fragile silence something sacred awakens. The early hours carry a weight unlike any other moment in the day. They are not just minutes on a clock, but a threshold between darkness and light, despair and hope, silence and song. It is here, when the sun is not yet high, that our souls are most tender and our hearts most ready to be reshaped. Perhaps you are listening now because sleep escaped you. Perhaps the worries of yesterday still cling to your chest like heavy stones. You may carry the sting of loss, the ache of betrayal, or the quiet panic of not knowing how to face another day. I think of a young woman I once knew who, after losing her job and standing at the edge of eviction, sat awake at 3 a.m. Tears blurred her sight as she whispered into the dark, unsure if anyone heard. In that stillness she felt utterly alone. Yet it was in that same moment that she remembered the stories of those who prayed in the night watch, how Jacob wrestled until dawn, how David sought God before sunrise, how Jesus himself rose early to commune with the Father. She dared to lift her trembling voice, and though her circumstances did not shift in an instant, her spirit did. What had been a pit of despair became a doorway into strength. She found that prayer did not erase the valley, but it gave her courage to walk through it with new eyes. Maybe today your valley feels deep. Maybe fear whispers louder than hope, and the shadow of your troubles stretches longer than the light of your faith. Yet the truth remains. In these quiet morning hours, heaven leans close. The God who numbers every hair on your head does not sleep, and he bends to listen. Your sighs are not wasted, your tears are not unseen, and your prayers are not ignored. Faith is not about denying pain, but about declaring that pain will not have the final word. Prayer is not empty ritual. It is the lifeline between your heart and the one who holds galaxies in his hand. When you speak, you are not releasing words into an indifferent sky. You are entering into a living conversation with the Creator who has promised to never leave you nor forsake you. In prayer we find shelter when storms rage, strength when weakness overtakes us, and peace when the world has none to offer. So I invite you, this very morning, to open your heart without hesitation. Lay bare your wounds, your fears, your questions, and your longings. Do not worry about eloquence or perfection. What matters is honesty, hunger, and trust. Together, we will walk through themes of worship, confession, protection, healing, calling, and intercession, each building upon the last like steps toward a sunrise that never fades. Let this time be more than listening. Let it become a journey. Breathe slowly, quiet the noise within, and prepare your soul to enter into dialogue with the one who calls you beloved. The dawn is here, the hour is holy, and the invitation is waiting. Dear Heavenly Father, the first breath of this morning feels fragile and new, as though the air itself carries a quiet invitation to begin again. My eyes are heavy, yet my heart knows that this hour is not meant to be wasted. In this tender silence, Before the world demands my attention, I choose to turn to you. I do not come with rehearsed speeches or polished words. I come as I am, tired yet hopeful, burdened yet longing to be free. I rise not because I have strength, but because I believe you will meet me here. The room is still, but within me storms of thoughts swirl. Worries about yesterday and fears of tomorrow press in like shadows that try to hold me back. Yet I refuse to let them command this morning. I name this moment as holy ground. I lift my heart above the noise of my mind and place it in your hands. Let the first sound from my lips be not complaint, but surrender. Let the very air I breathe testify that I am awake not only to the day, but awake to you. I choose to step away from passivity. I will not drift through this dawn numb or distracted. I will not allow the pull of weariness or the lure of comfort to silence my voice. I choose pursuit over apathy, life over numbness, hope over despair. I call this choice an act of trust. For even when I do not feel strong, I know that my decision to rise and seek you carries more weight than my weakness. My spirit whispers yes, though my flesh cries for more sleep. That yes is enough for you to work with. Father, I set this morning apart. I speak to the darkness that lingers and declare that it has no authority here. Every heavy thought, every anxious projection, every whisper of fear must bow to your presence. I claim this dawn not as a random hour, but as a gift. The stillness of early morning is not emptiness. It is a sanctuary. I ask you to fill it with your nearness. Let every breath be colored with your peace. Every beat of my heart a reminder that I am not alone. As the faint light of day creeps across the sky, I remember that even the smallest spark breaks the power of the night. I hold on to that truth. My decision to pray now is that spark. It may feel small, but I trust it will grow brighter as I continue to seek you. I do not whisper into the void. I believe my voice rises into the heavens, carried into your throne room where mercy and love flow without end. Lord, I confess that I often let the day command me instead of commanding the day. Too many times I have woken late, rushed into tasks, and drowned in noise before speaking a single word to you. Forgive me for those moments of neglect. Today, I reverse that pattern. Before the day shouts its demands, I raise my voice to you. I ask you to frame this day with your will, not my own restlessness. Plant seeds of life in these minutes that will bear fruit long after the sun has climbed high. I bring before you my fragile heart. I admit that I am not as strong as I pretend to be. Beneath the surface, I am often weary, often unsure, often afraid. Yet I believe you delight in truth, not masks. So here is my truth. I need you. Without your nearness, my best efforts crumble. Without your presence, my victories are hollow. Without your breath, my steps falter. But with you, the smallest beginning can become the doorway to miracles. Father, as I kneel at the edge of this new day, I ask that you quiet my racing mind. Let your peace cover me like the gentle weight of a blanket. Let every anxious thought be replaced with a steady rhythm of trust. Where my imagination has painted pictures of failure or fear, redraw them with your promises. Where my memories replay wounds of yesterday, interrupt them with the sound of your voice reminding me of my worth. Let me feel the safety of being known by you and still loved completely. I surrender my schedule, my responsibilities, my unseen battles. I know that my efforts are limited, but you are unlimited. You are not bound by time or space. So I invite you to enter every moment ahead of me. Go before me into conversations I have not yet spoken, into places I have not yet walked, into challenges I have not yet seen. Prepare the way where I cannot. Straighten paths that feel crooked. Shine light where fog clouds my judgment. Be the compass that gently pulls me back when I stray. Even as the first hints of dawn appear, I declare that this day will not be wasted. I will not stumble through hours unaware of your presence. I will not allow fear to steal my peace. I will not surrender my mind to endless distraction. I will rise with intention. I will speak with purpose. I will walk with awareness of you beside me. This morning is a turning point. It may seem ordinary to others, but to me it is the place where eternity touches time. I lift up my hands, trembling though they may be, and I give you this moment. I give you my tiredness, my longings, my uncertainties, and my hope. Shape them into something beautiful as only you can. Receive this early rising as a sacrifice of love, a seed of faith, a step of obedience. Let this first hour set the rhythm for all that follows. Let me live today not as one drifting, but as one anchored in your presence. So here I am. Dear Father, at the threshold of day, I am awake, not just in body, but in spirit. I come not with perfection, but with hunger. I come not with answers, but with questions. I come not with strength, but with surrender. Take this fragile offering and make it holy. Meet me in this beginning and guide me through what lies ahead. My eyes are on you, and my heart is open. Lord, as my heart rests from the weight of surrender, I sense the quiet shift from desperation into wonder. The stillness that surrounded me moments ago now feels alive, as though the very air vibrates with your nearness. I do not want to rush past this moment. I choose to lift my eyes away from my burdens and place them firmly on you. My soul recognizes what I need most is not escape from trouble, but a deeper vision of who you are. You are the one who paints the heavens with colors that no hand can imitate. You are the one who stretches the horizon and calls the dawn into being. While I lay asleep, you watched over creation, and as I wake, you greet me with light that declares your faithfulness. The ground beneath me is steady not because it is unshaken, but because it rests in your design. Every breath in my lungs, every beat in my chest, whispers that I am sustained by a power greater than my own. Father, I lift words of gratitude that feel too small for the vastness of your glory. My language falters because no description can capture your majesty, yet I offer what I can, praise that flows from a heart that remembers your mercy. You have been the shield I did not see, the hand that steadied me when I slipped, the whisper that calmed me when fear pressed hard against my mind. You have been more faithful than I have been consistent. You have been patient when I wandered and tender when I resisted. I adore you, not only for what you have done, but for who you are. You are wholly beyond comprehension, set apart yet intimately near. You are the flame that never dies, the river that never runs dry, the fortress that never crumbles. My worship rises not as duty, but as the natural response of a heart that has glimpsed your splendor. I cannot remain silent when confronted by such greatness. Silence itself turns into song, and song becomes the language of awe. God. As the sun begins to edge its way across the sky, I imagine the angels lifting their voices in endless chorus, proclaiming your worth without pause. I join their song, fragile and imperfect though it may be, trusting that you receive it as precious because it comes from sincerity. The earth itself participates, the trees reaching upward, the rivers running their course, the mountains standing firm as silent testimonies of your might. Creation bows, and I bow with it, acknowledging you as Lord of all. Lord, you are not distant royalty seated on a faraway throne. You are present in this very room, closer than my thoughts, nearer than my skin. Yet at the same time you are clothed in majesty that no eye can endure. This paradox humbles me, that the God who commands galaxies stoops to hear the faint whisper of a single soul in the quiet of morning. That mystery is beyond my grasp, but it draws adoration from the deepest place within me. Father, I set aside comparisons and complaints. I resist the temptation to fixate on what I lack. Instead, I recount the countless mercies that line the path of my life. There were nights when despair nearly swallowed me, yet you sent comfort like hidden manna. There were days when strength drained from me, yet you poured fresh courage into my bones. There were moments when loneliness crushed, yet your presence became the friend who never leaves. These memories fuel my praise, reminding me that gratitude is not optional but essential. I bow in my heart before your holiness. I acknowledge that without your love, I would be adrift. Without your hand, I would crumble. Without your breath, I would not exist. You are my center, my anchor, my horizon. All that I am finds meaning in you. My words may falter, but my adoration is steadfast. I lift it as incense rising toward heaven, a fragrance formed not by eloquence, but by devotion. God, let this moment of reverence expand beyond the boundaries of morning. Let awe mark the tone of my day. Let my conversations carry the softness of one who has stood in the presence of majesty. Let my decisions flow from the awareness that I live before your gaze, when I am tempted to diminish your worth by shrinking into fear. Remind me of this moment. Remind me that worship lifts my vision higher than obstacles. Remind me that adoration is the gateway into joy. As I continue in this journey of prayer, I ask that you enlarge my capacity for wonder. Do not let my heart grow cold or casual. Protect me from routine that dulls my vision. Keep me sensitive to the traces of your beauty scattered everywhere. In the laughter of a child, in the kindness of a stranger, in the resilience of creation itself. Let me be quick to notice, quick to marvel, quick to bow in gratitude. Father, I choose to adore you now not because circumstances have shifted, but because you never change. You are steady when all else trembles. You are constant when all else fades. You are glorious when all else disappoints. I fix my heart on you, and in that gaze I find rest. I find courage. I find joy that does not depend on the fragile structures of this world. My voice may be small, but in your presence it carries weight. My worship may be simple, but in your heart it is received with delight. So I linger here, allowing reverence to saturate every part of me. I let adoration quiet the restlessness that so often drives me. I allow wonder to replace worry and awe to replace apathy. This is not wasted time. This is the essence of life itself. To behold you and to know that you are enough. Father, as adoration fills my heart and reverence steadies my gaze, I cannot help but see more clearly the distance between your holiness and my frailty. The more I lift my eyes to behold your beauty, the more I recognize the shadows within me that resist your light. I do not want to hide those shadows any longer. This quiet morning hour is not only for praise, but for honesty. I bring myself to you uncovered, without excuses, without rehearsed defenses. I bring the parts of me I would rather keep hidden, because I know that only in your presence can they be healed. Lord, I confess the times I spoke with sharpness and wounded when I meant to protect. I confess the moments when pride whispered that I could manage on my own, and I listened instead of leaning on you. I confess the thoughts I entertained in secret that did not honor the purity of your spirit. I confess the selfish motives that disguised themselves as noble but were rooted in my own desire for control. These admissions are not easy, but silence about them would be more dangerous. Keeping them hidden would give them power. Speaking them before you disarms them. God, I acknowledge that I have carried bitterness like a cloak. At times I have rehearsed the wrongs others have done to me, until the weight of resentment bent my back. Forgive me for clinging to anger when you invited me to release it. Forgive me for measuring others by their failures while expecting grace for my own. I lay down this burden now, not because I can forget on my own, but because I trust you to cleanse my memory and teach me forgiveness that is real. Father, I confess the apathy that crept in when discipline grew hard. Too often I chose distraction over devotion, entertainment over stillness, avoidance over prayer. Forgive me for the hours I wasted chasing what could never satisfy. Wash me from patterns of laziness and indifference that dulled my spirit. Stir fresh hunger in me for what is eternal, that I may no longer trade gold for dust. Lord, I confess fear that has disguised itself as caution. I have let anxiety dictate decisions, shrinking back from opportunities you prepared. I have listened to the voice of dread instead of the whisper of your spirit. Forgive me for trusting worry more than your promises. Replace my trembling with courage rooted not in myself, but in the certainty of your faithfulness. God, I confess the secret envy that sometimes poisons my joy. I have looked at the blessings of others and questioned your goodness toward me. Forgive me for doubting your provision, for forgetting the unique path you have written for my life. Teach me to celebrate the victories of others as evidence of your generosity, not as a threat to my worth. Father, in naming these sins I do not despair, because I know your mercy is deeper than my failure. Your word declares that if we confess, you are faithful to forgive and to cleanse from all unrighteousness. I rest in that promise. Let the cleansing flow like clear water over my soul. Wash away shame that clings like dirt. Remove the stain of guilt that whispers, I am unworthy. Let the blood of Christ speak louder than every accusation, silencing the voice that tells me I am defined by my past. Lord, I ask not only for forgiveness, but for transformation. Do not let me return to the patterns I now renounce. Create in me a clean heart and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Where pride once ruled, sow humility. Where anger once burned, plant gentleness. Where lust once tempted, grow purity. Where fear once crippled, raise bold faith. I do not want temporary relief. I long for lasting change that reflects your character in me. God, shine your light into corners I have not yet recognized. Expose the hidden motives, the subtle compromises, the quiet agreements with lies. Bring them into the open, not to shame me, but to free me. Teach me to be quick to confess, quick to repent, and slow to justify myself. Let honesty become my reflex and repentance my habit, so that my walk with you is marked by clarity, not by pretense. Father, I choose to release every secret weight that I have carried. I no longer cling to them as part of my identity. They are not who I am. In Christ I am redeemed, restored, and renewed. The old has passed away. The new has come. I rise from confession not bowed in shame, but lifted by grace. My past mistakes no longer dictate my future steps. My failures no longer write my story. You write my story, and your hand does not falter. Lord, as cleansing washes over me, I feel lighter. The heaviness of guilt loosens its grip, and my soul breathes freely again. Gratitude flows where shame once ruled. Hope rises where despair once settled. I am not perfect, but I am forgiven. I am not flawless, but I am loved. These truths are the ground beneath my feet as I continue in prayer. God, I rest in the assurance that your forgiveness is not partial. You do not erase some sins and leave others to accuse me. You remove them all, casting them into the depths of the sea, where they cannot rise against me. You clothe me with righteousness not my own, and you call me beloved even when I feel unworthy. This identity is my refuge, my strength, my song. Father, I stand before you unmasked and unburdened. My heart is clean, not by my effort, but by your mercy. My spirit is renewed, not by discipline alone, but by the power of your grace. I thank you for this freedom, and I carry it with me as the day unfolds. May the fragrance of forgiveness linger in my words, my actions, my thoughts. May those who encounter me sense the peace that comes from being reconciled to you. May my life testify that confession is not defeat but victory, not weakness but strength, not shame but release. Lord, having laid down the burdens of guilt and felt the cleansing flow of your mercy, I now come to you seeking the covering of your protection. The freedom I receive through forgiveness stirs courage within me. Yet I am also aware of the dangers that surround me in ways both seen and unseen. Life is filled with threats that my eyes cannot always detect, circumstances I cannot fully control, and battles I cannot fight on my own. That awareness does not drive me into fear, but into the safety of your presence. I need the shadow of your wings stretched over me, shielding me from harm and guiding me through uncertainty. Father, I remember the words that speak of dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. I long to live in that place, not as a visitor who comes only when pressed, but as a child who abides with confidence. The shelter you provide is not fragile or temporary. It is steady and strong, a refuge no storm can penetrate. As I stand in the dawning light of this morning, I consciously step beneath that covering. I declare that I do not walk this day exposed or unguarded. For you surround me with your presence as a shield. God, I ask you to guard my body from sickness, from accidents, from hidden dangers that seek to rob me of strength. Protect me from sudden calamities, from the schemes of those who wish me harm, from the snares set in secret. Place a barrier around my steps so that nothing can touch me unless it first passes through your will. Let the path I walk today be secured by your angels, unseen messengers who watch over me at your command. When my feet stumble, let them bear me up. When I encounter obstacles, let their presence remind me that heaven is nearer than I imagine. Lord, I pray also for protection of my mind. Guard my thoughts from the lies that creep in quietly, whispers of defeat that attempt to undo the truth you have spoken. Cover me from the arrows of anxiety and the heavy fog of despair. Let every voice that contradicts your promises be silenced. Replace fear with clarity, confusion with wisdom, distraction with focus. Place a helmet of peace upon my head, so that the noise of the world does not drown out the gentle leading of your Spirit. Father, extend your covering over my emotions as well. When anger tries to flare, let your gentleness restrain me. When sadness threatens to weigh me down, let your joy lift me. When loneliness reaches for me, let the assurance of your nearness keep me steady. Protect my heart from becoming hardened by disappointment or calloused by wounds. Keep me tender enough to love, courageous enough to trust, and resilient enough to continue even when the day brings challenges I did not expect. God, I place my family beneath your shelter. Watch over those I love in every place they go. Surround their homes, their workplaces, their schools with your presence. Protect them from harm, from deception, from destructive influences. Build a hedge of safety around their lives, not made of stone or iron, but of your living Spirit. Keep them under the shadow of your wings, where no evil can prevail and no threat can succeed. Lord, I ask for covering over my journey through this day. Whether I walk into crowded rooms or stand alone in quiet places, let me remain conscious of your nearness. Shield me from temptation that comes disguised as opportunity. Guard me from choices that would lead me astray. Protect me from the subtle drift of compromise, from the pull of voices that do not honor you. Keep my steps aligned with your path, so that I do not wander into danger unknowingly. Father, I know that protection is not only about defense, but also about presence. It is not merely about being kept from harm, but about being kept close to you. The safest place in this world is not behind locked doors or guarded walls. It is under the covering of your love. So I lean into that truth. I declare that I will not live this day in fear of what may come. I will not be paralyzed by the shadows of potential disaster. I will walk in peace, not because threats do not exist, but because you are greater than every threat. God, I ask that you make me aware of your shielding hand in the ordinary moments. When I cross a street, let me sense that you guide my steps. When I speak with others, let me trust that you guard my words. when I make decisions. Let me feel the security of your wisdom surrounding me. Let me remember that nothing can separate me from your love, and therefore nothing can ultimately destroy me. My life is hidden with Christ, and in that hiddenness I am secure. Lord, I also ask for protection over my spirit. Guard the flame within me from winds that would try to extinguish it. Protect my devotion from weariness, my hunger from distraction, my worship from coldness. Keep my soul alive and vibrant, resistant to apathy or despair. Place your hand over me as a seal, ensuring that my faith remains unshaken, no matter what the day may bring. Father, I rest beneath the wings of your care. I do not have to manufacture safety or construct my own defenses. You are my defense. You are my strong tower. You are my refuge. With this assurance, I can face the unknown not with dread but with courage. I can walk into the unfolding hours with confidence that I am never unguarded. This is my peace, not that danger is absent, but that you are present, and in your presence I am secure. Father, beneath the safety of your covering, I sense not only protection, but also responsibility. To be sheltered by you is to be entrusted with authority. The words I speak carry weight, and the direction of this day will, in many ways, follow the declarations that flow from my lips. I cannot treat speech as casual or powerless, for I know that life and death rest in the power of the tongue. I pause here in the stillness of morning to frame this day with words that align with your truth. Lord, I confess that too often I have used speech carelessly. I have allowed complaint to roll from my tongue as though it were harmless. I have let fear shape my sentences, painting bleak pictures of what lies ahead. I have spoken doubt more quickly than faith, frustration more quickly than gratitude. Forgive me for those moments where I allowed my mouth to echo despair rather than your promises. Teach me now to weigh every word, to release into the air only that which builds, heals, and blesses. God, I choose to begin by declaring that this day belongs to you. I speak order where chaos has threatened. I speak calm where anxiety has stirred. I speak strength into tasks that seem beyond me, and I speak clarity into moments that might otherwise confuse me. My words are not empty sounds, but seeds planted in the soil of this morning. What I declare now will grow into fruit I will taste later. Let me be diligent to plant carefully, to sow generously, to cultivate wisely. Father, I decree that no weapon formed against me will prosper. Every scheme designed in secret will fail before it reaches me. I declare that I will walk in peace, not in turmoil. I will walk in purpose, not in distraction. I will walk in joy, not in despair. These are not wishes but confessions of faith, words shaped by your promises. Let them rise as banners over my life, visible in the unseen realm, announcing to both heaven and earth that I belong to you. Lord, I speak over my mind. I declare that my thoughts will be sound, anchored in truth, not swayed by fear or lies. I speak over my emotions, proclaiming stability and resilience. I speak over my relationships, calling forth harmony and kindness. I speak over my body, declaring health and vitality. I speak over my spirit, proclaiming hunger for your presence and endurance for the journey. Each of these confessions frames my day not according to what I see, but according to what I believe. God, I also turn my declarations outward. I speak blessing over my home, that peace will reign in every room. I speak blessing over my workplace, that diligence, creativity, and fairness will guide my actions. I speak blessing over those I will encounter, that kindness and respect will mark my words. I speak blessing over the community around me, that light will pierce darkness and hope will rise where despair has taken root. Let the echo of my speech ripple far beyond what I can measure. Father, I know that my tongue can either build or destroy. I renounce every habit of criticism, gossip, or negativity. I choose instead to release encouragement, truth, and grace. Let my speech today serve as a river of refreshment, rather than a fire of destruction. When I am tempted to react with sharpness, remind me to pause. When silence would be more fruitful than speech, help me to remain still. When boldness is required, grant me courage to speak truth with gentleness. Lord, I remember that even Jesus used words to command storms, to cast out fear, to heal brokenness. His example teaches me that spoken faith moves mountains. Though my voice may not carry across seas or shake nations, I believe it carries into eternity when aligned with your will. So I raise it now, not timidly but with conviction. Let heaven record these declarations. Let the earth respond. Let the unseen bow to the authority of Christ within me. God, I ask that you make me attentive to the language I carry into every interaction. May my greetings uplift the weary. May my instructions guide with clarity. May my conversations carry dignity. May my prayers release hope. Keep me alert to the impact of words, so that at the end of this day I can look back and see a trail of blessing, not of harm. Father, I close this moment of declaration with a heart steady in faith. I will not wait for circumstances to confirm my words. I will let my words shape circumstances. I will not let fear dictate what I confess. I will confess truth until fear is silenced. I will not be careless with the gift of speech. I will guard it as a holy instrument. Under the shadow of your wings I am safe, and with the authority of your Spirit I speak life into this day. Father, having framed this day with words of faith and blessing, I now turn my heart toward the needs of my body. I know that these vessels of flesh are fragile, prone to weariness and weakness. They carry the weight of my daily labor, and yet they are also the temples where your Spirit chooses to dwell. I cannot ignore the aches, the pains, the silent battles that stir beneath the surface of skin and bone. I bring them into your light now, not with despair, but with expectation that you, the Creator who shaped every fiber of me, hold the power to restore. Lord, you know the areas where strength falters, where energy drains too quickly, where hidden ailments threaten to disrupt the rhythm of my life. You see the weariness that lingers even after sleep, the tension that tightens without warning, the fatigue that whispers discouragement. I confess that at times I have tried to press through these struggles on my own, treating my body as if it were only a machine to be pushed beyond its limit. Forgive me for neglecting the gift you gave when you formed me with such care. Teach me to honor this body, not out of vanity, but out of reverence, for it is the dwelling place of your presence. God, I ask you to release healing into every cell, every system, every hidden corner of my being. Let vitality return where it has been drained. Let strength flow where weakness has settled. Let balance be restored where disorder has tried to take root. Align every heartbeat, every breath, every movement with the order you designed from the beginning. Where there is inflammation, let it quiet. Where there is chronic pain, let it ease. Where there is hidden illness, let it dissolve under the authority of your word. Father, I speak life into my bones. I declare resilience into my muscles. I ask for clarity in my mind, steadiness in my nerves, restoration in my organs. Let the systems of my body work together in harmony, free from confusion or malfunction. Replace fatigue with endurance. Replace heaviness with lightness. Replace sickness with health. Let my body rise to serve the purposes you have planned, unhindered by chains of infirmity. Lord, I also pray for wisdom to steward this body well. Give me discernment in what I consume, discipline in how I rest, courage in how I care for myself. Help me to see nourishment not as indulgence, but as preparation. Help me to embrace movement not as burden, but as celebration of life. Help me to listen when my body whispers for rest. Instead of silencing it with business, teach me to treat health not as an afterthought, but as a sacred trust. God, I ask not only for myself, but for those I love. I lift up family, friends, and even those I do not know by name who suffer quietly in their bodies. Pour healing over them as well. Touch the hospital rooms where monitors beep through the night. Touch the quiet homes where pain isolates. Touch the minds of those who have been told there is no hope. Let your restoring power move in places where despair has become normal. Remind every weary heart that nothing is beyond your reach. Father, I know that healing can come in many forms, sometimes through sudden miracle, sometimes through gradual process, sometimes through the wisdom of doctors and the advances of medicine. I choose not to limit you. I open myself to every channel you desire to use. I trust that whether through touch, word, or treatment, it is ultimately your hand that heals. Keep me patient in the waiting, steadfast in faith even when progress seems slow. Let hope remain alive in me, unshaken by delay. Lord, I release fear of sickness that tries to cling to my thoughts. I refuse to live captive to dread of what may come. I will not let the shadow of disease dictate the story of my days. I stand under your promise that by the stripes of Jesus, healing flows. I anchor myself not in statistics or predictions, but in the certainty that you are greater than every diagnosis. Even when my body feels frail, my spirit is renewed by the assurance of your presence. God, let this day be marked by strength. Let me rise into tasks with energy that surprises me. Let me carry burdens with grace rather than strain. Let me move with freedom instead of hesitation. Let my body not be a hindrance, but a vessel of praise. As I breathe, let each breath remind me that life itself is sustained by you. As I walk, let each step remind me that I am upheld by unseen hands. As I labor, let each effort remind me that I am empowered by your Spirit. Father, I dedicate this body again to you. It is not mine to abuse, neglect, or idolize. It is yours to use. May my hands serve with compassion, my feet carry good news, my voice release encouragement, my eyes see with clarity, and my ears remain attentive to truth. Protect me from harm, preserve me from disease, and position me for strength that extends beyond my own capacity. I rise from this moment of prayer, not merely hoping for health, but declaring it. Not merely wishing for restoration, but embracing it. My body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and I choose to honor that temple today. Lord, as I bring my body before you and entrust it to your restoring power, I cannot ignore the deeper places within me that also cry out for healing. My soul bears wounds that are not visible, yet they weigh as heavily as any sickness of the flesh. These inner pains live in memory, in thought, in the quiet chambers of the heart where no one else can see. They surface in sudden moments of sorrow, in anger I cannot explain, in silence that feels too heavy to carry. Father, I bring these hidden places to you now, trusting that your compassion reaches deeper than any scar. God, you know the times rejection pierced me like an arrow. Words spoken carelessly or deliberately became stones I carried in secret. Faces of those who turned away linger in my memory, reminding me of loss I never asked for. I confess that some of these wounds I tried to ignore, covering them with business or distraction. Yet they remain beneath the surface, waiting for your touch. Heal me from the fear that I am not enough. Heal me from the ache of abandonment. Speak into those memories with your voice that calls me chosen, wanted, and loved. Father, betrayal has also left its mark. People I trusted broke promises, and in the aftermath my heart built walls to shield itself. I find it hard to let others close, hard to release control, hard to trust without suspicion. Yet I know that these walls imprison me more than they protect me. I bring them down before you. Where betrayal cut deep, pour balm that soothes. Where trust was broken, plant seeds of courage to open again. Heal me not only from the wound, but from the hardness it produced. Lord, I also confess the burden of guilt that clings even after forgiveness has been spoken. My mind replays failures long past, as though rehearsing them could change the outcome. Shame lingers like a shadow, whispering that I am disqualified. I ask you to silence those whispers. Remind me that you have already covered my failures. Remind me that redemption is not theory, but reality. Heal me from the cycle of self-condemnation. Replace shame with dignity, regret with hope, despair with renewal. God, heal me from bitterness that quietly poisons the soul. At times I have nurtured anger like a fire, believing it gave me strength, when in truth it only consumed me. I release every grudge, every lingering resentment, every harsh thought I clung to as defense. I forgive those who hurt me, not because they deserve it, but because I cannot carry chains any longer. Set me free from the prison of bitterness, and fill me with compassion that reflects your heart. Father, I bring before you my hidden fears, the fear of failure that paralyzes, the fear of loss that steals joy, the fear of disappointment that shrinks dreams before they can grow. Heal me from these fears, Lord. Replace them with faith that rises unshaken. Teach my soul to rest not in control, but in trust. Let confidence in your goodness soothe the tremors of worry that rise in me. Lord, I ask you to mend the fragments of my identity. At times I have let the opinions of others define me. At times I have let wounds dictate my worth. I surrender those false identities and ask you to remind me of who I truly am. Beloved, forgiven, redeemed, secure. Heal me from the lies I believed about myself. Restore the image you intended from the beginning. Let my soul rest in the truth that I am yours, and that is enough. God, let your peace flow through my inner life like a river, touching every memory, every thought, every wound. Let it wash away the residue of pain and leave behind stillness. Where there was unrest, bring calm. Where there was sadness, bring comfort. Where there was confusion, bring clarity. Where there was hopelessness, bring vision. Let my soul breathe again, unburdened, alive, renewed. Father, I also ask for joy to be restored. Joy that is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in the certainty of your presence. Heal me from cynicism that expects disappointment. Heal me from despair that cannot see tomorrow. Heal me from sorrow that blinds me to beauty. Restore laughter to my mouth, lightness to my step, music to my heart. Let joy be the melody that carries me through the hours ahead. Lord, as I yield these hidden wounds to you, I feel hope stirring. I believe that the soul is not too broken for you to mend. I believe that scars can become testimonies rather than prisons. I believe that wholeness is possible even after long seasons of pain. Teach me to live as one who has been healed, not as one who is still bleeding. Teach me to extend to others the same grace I have received. Teach me to walk in freedom rather than fear. God, I offer my soul into your care, just as I have offered my body. Shape it. Cleanse it. Strengthen it. Remove what harms. Restore what was lost. Awaken what has grown numb. Let my inner life be a garden tended by your hand, where peace grows, joy blossoms, and love takes root. Let me carry this healing not only for myself, but as a gift I can share with others who are wounded. Make me a vessel of comfort, a bearer of hope, a witness that the soul can be made whole again. Father, as the healing of my soul takes root and hope begins to breathe within me again, I am drawn to the deeper true truth of who I am in you. Wounds once whispered that I was unwanted, but your voice calls me beloved. Lies once told me I was abandoned, but your spirit assures me I am adopted. My heart longs to rest in that identity, not as an outsider struggling to be noticed, but as a child already welcomed home. I come to you now, not only asking for healing, but receiving the dignity of belonging that cannot be taken away. Lord, too often I have defined myself by roles, achievements, or failures. I have measured my worth by how others treated me, by what I accomplished, or by the mistakes I could not forget. These shifting measures have left me unstable, for they change with every season. But you, God, are constant, and what you declare is unchanging. You say, I am yours. You say, I am chosen. You say, I am sealed with your spirit. These truths anchor me when every other identity dissolves. God, I picture myself at a table prepared by your hand. There is no scrambling for a seat, no fighting for a place, no fear of being pushed away. There is a chair already waiting, inscribed with my name before I was even born. I sit here not as a guest who overstays, but as a child who belongs. Adoption is not a temporary arrangement. It is a covenant of love sealed by your own sacrifice. Let this truth sink into my bones until doubt cannot shake it. Father, I renounce the orphan spirit that tries to convince me I am alone. I will not live as one striving to earn love through performance. I will not measure myself by comparison or chase approval to quiet insecurity. Instead, I embrace the freedom of sonship, the joy of daughterhood, the safety of being fully known and still fully loved. My failures do not erase my place in your family. My shortcomings do not cancel the inheritance you have written over me. Lord, I ask that you rewrite the narrative I carry about myself. Where my thoughts say, I am not enough, replace them with, I am chosen. Where my memories say, I am forgotten, replace them with, I am seen. Where my fears say, I am unworthy, replace them with, I am redeemed. Let my mind be saturated with your truth until lies lose their grip. Let every label I once wore fall away, leaving only the identity you have spoken over me. God, let this identity shape how I live. As a child of the King, I walk not in arrogance but in confidence. As one who belongs, I do not shrink in fear but stand with courage. As an heir of your promises, I live not in scarcity but in expectation. Let my posture reflect security, my words reflect dignity, my actions reflect gratitude. May others see in me not insecurity but assurance, not striving but rest, not emptiness but overflow. Father, when I am tempted to return to old patterns of proving myself, remind me that adoption is not earned but given. Remind me that you chose me while I was still broken. Remind me that you loved me before I even knew how to love you. Let these reminders break the cycle of performance and awaken the joy of simply being yours. Lord, I also bring before you those who feel unseen, those who have never known the warmth of belonging, those who wander with restless hearts, searching for a place to call home. Extend to them the same adoption you have given me. Let them hear your voice calling them by name. Let them discover that they are not accidents, but masterpieces, not rejected but chosen, not alone but gathered into family. Use my life as a witness of this truth, that they may see in me the reflection of a Father who welcomes without condition. God, I lift my hands in surrender, not to give up but to receive. I receive the robe of belonging you place upon me. I receive the ring of covenant that declares I am yours. I receive the sandals of freedom that allow me to walk in dignity. I receive the embrace that assures me I am no longer a stranger but a child. Let these symbols of adoption guard me when doubt attacks, reminding me that nothing can sever me from your love. Father, I choose to live today out of this identity. I am not an orphan wandering without direction. I am not a servant merely striving for approval. I am not a stranger begging for scraps of affection. I am a child of God, loved without condition, secure without fear, chosen without hesitation. This is my truth, my anchor, my song. I walk into the day ahead clothed in belonging, carrying the confidence of adoption, living as one whose place at the table is eternally secure. Father, as I stand secure in the identity of being your child, I know that this belonging also calls me to readiness. Adoption does not place me in a life without conflict, but equips me to face the battles that come with courage. I sense that the day ahead will bring both opportunity and resistance, moments of peace and moments of challenge. To meet them faithfully, I cannot rely only on my strength or wisdom. I need to be clothed with the armor you provide, for only then will I stand steady when pressure comes. Lord, I ask first for the helmet that guards my mind. Place it firmly over my thoughts, sealing out lies that try to erode confidence in you. Protect me from the whispers that say I am weak, from the doubts that question your promises, from the confusion that blurs truth. Let clarity guide my decisions and focus shape my steps. Cover my imagination so it dreams not of failure, but a hope. Surround my mind with the assurance that I am saved and secure in Christ, beyond the reach of condemnation. God, I lift up the breastplate of righteousness. Let it shield my heart from wounds that seek to pierce it. Guard me from bitterness that tries to take root, from pride that tries to rise, from despair that tries to settle. Let righteousness be more than a covering. Let it be the rhythm of how I live. May my motives remain pure, my affections aligned with your will, my emotions steadied by integrity. Protect the deepest place within me, where love is formed and faith is nurtured. Father, I fasten the belt of truth around me. Let it hold everything together so that I do not stumble into compromise. In a world filled with shifting voices, let truth be the anchor of my steps. Keep me from deception that looks attractive but leads astray. Keep me from illusions that flatter but destroy. Keep me steady in honesty even when it costs me. Let my words be transparent, my actions consistent, my heart sincere. Let truth not only guide me but define me. Lord, I raise the shield of faith before me. Let it extinguish every arrow that flies with intent to wound. Doubt will not pierce me. Fear will not weaken me. Discouragement will not crush me. With this shield I block the accusations, tell me I am unworthy, and the lies that insist I will fail. My faith is not in myself, but in you, the God who never changes. Strengthen my grip so that I do not lower it when weariness comes. Keep it lifted until the last arrow fades into silence. God, I take into my hand the sword of the Spirit, sharper than any blade, living and active. Let your word cut through confusion, expose lies, and reveal the path I am to walk. Teach me to wield it not recklessly, but with wisdom, to speak it not as argument, but as life. Let it pierce the darkness around me, and carve out space for light to reign. When silence is heavy, let scripture on my lips carry the power of heaven. When temptation arises, let your promises be the weapon that secures my victory. Father, I lace the shoes of peace upon my feet. Let every step I take leave behind calm instead of chaos, reconciliation instead of division. Guide me into places where healing is needed, and let me carry your presence with gentleness. Keep my footing steady even when the ground feels unstable. Teach me to move with confidence, not in haste, but in harmony with your spirit. Wherever I go, let peace announce my arrival and linger after I leave. Lord, I ask that this armor not be something I wear in ritual, but in reality. Let me be conscious of it throughout the day, aware that I am never unprotected, never without resources, never exposed without defense. Let this armor not separate me from others, but equip me to serve them with strength. May it not harden me into coldness, but empower me to stand with compassion. God, I know the battles I face are not merely flesh and blood. They rise from unseen places, from whispers that tempt, from currents that pull, from shadows that try to unsettle. But with your armor I do not fear. I am not helpless. I am not vulnerable. I am equipped, defended, empowered. I stand not as one overwhelmed, but as one ready. Father, I dedicate this armor to you and to the purposes you have for me. Let each piece serve not only as my protection, but as my declaration that I belong to you. Let my mind remain guarded, my heart remain pure, my steps remain steady, my faith remain unshaken, my words remain sharp with truth, and my presence remain marked by peace. As I move into this day, I carry this armor with humility, knowing it is not by my strength, but by yours that I stand. Lord, clothed in your armor and standing firm in readiness, I now turn my thoughts toward the shape of this day. Protection and strength are gifts, but wisdom is what allows me to walk in them faithfully. Too often I have stumbled not because of overwhelming battles, but because of scattered choices, hurried schedules, and restless striving. Father, I ask you to order my steps so that I do not run in circles, wasting energy on what does not matter, but instead move steadily along the path you have marked for me. God, I confess that my tendency is to rush. I fill hours with tasks, believing that business equals purpose. Yet by evening I feel empty rather than fulfilled. I chase after urgencies while neglecting the truly important. Forgive me for measuring worth by productivity instead of presence. Forgive me for treating time as something to conquer rather than something to steward. Today I choose a different rhythm. I choose to walk in pace with you, not running ahead or lagging behind, but staying close to your lead. Father, grant me wisdom in discerning what is mine to carry and what I must release. There are responsibilities that belong to me, and there are burdens I was never meant to hold. Teach me to tell the difference. Show me which opportunities align with your will and which are distractions in disguise. Give me courage to say no without guilt and yes without fear. Let my boundaries be shaped not by selfishness, but by clarity of purpose. Lord, I bring before you my plans, my appointments, my tasks. Some of them are significant, others ordinary. I surrender them all into your hands. Arrange them in the order that honors you most. If interruptions come, help me to see them not always as obstacles, but sometimes as invitations. Let me be flexible enough to recognize divine appointments hidden in unexpected moments. Let me not resent delays, but look for the grace hidden within them. God, teach me to redeem time. When I am tempted to drift into distraction, remind me of the value of each moment. When I am tempted to cling too tightly to control, remind me that you hold the times and seasons. Give me the discipline to use waiting well, the creativity to turn small minutes into seeds of growth. the humility to let go when my striving adds nothing. Let my hours be filled not with noise, but with meaning. Father, I ask for clarity at crossroads. When decisions arise, grant me insight beyond my natural understanding. Protect me from choices made in haste, from words spoken without thought, from commitments made without prayer. Help me to pause long enough to hear your whisper before I move. Let peace, not pressure, be the compass that guides me. Let wisdom, not impulse, determine my steps. Lord, help me to weave rest into the fabric of my day. Remind me that rest is not laziness, but obedience. Not wasted time, but sacred space. In quiet moments, renew my strength. In stillness, restore my perspective. Protect me from the pride that says, I must always be moving. Protect me from the fear that says I cannot stop. Teach me the balance of labor and silence, of giving and receiving, of effort and trust. God, I invite you to set the pace of my conversations. Let my words be thoughtful rather than hurried, sincere rather than shallow. Teach me to listen with patience, not rushing to reply but truly hearing. In meetings, in phone calls, in brief exchanges, let my tone reflect calm assurance rather than frantic urgency. Let me carry a spirit of peace that slows the chaos around me and draws others into steadiness. Father, I pray also for wisdom in managing resources. Show me how to use what I have with integrity and foresight. Keep me from waste born of haste. Teach me to invest time, energy, and provision in ways that bear lasting fruit. Remind me that generosity often matters more than efficiency, that kindness often outlasts speed. Let my stewardship reflect that I live not for the moment, but for eternity. Lord, above all, order my heart so that every outward step flows from inward alignment with you. Without that, schedules and plans mean little. Shape my priorities from within. Let love guide what I choose. Let faith guide how I act. Let hope guide how I endure. Keep me steady when demands grow heavy, patient when progress feels slow, and grateful when fruit begins to show. God, I entrust this day to you, not as a rigid structure, but as a living journey. Guide me when to move swiftly and when to pause, when to speak and when to stay silent, when to work and when to rest. Let each moment become an offering, each task a prayer, each step a reflection of your order. In this way the day will not control me, but I, walking with you, will shape it into something holy. Father, as my steps are ordered and my pace aligned with your wisdom, I now bring before you the needs of my life, both great and small. You know every detail of what is required long before I whisper it. You see the bills waiting to be paid, the responsibilities I must carry, the people who rely on me, and the dreams you have placed within me that cannot flourish without resources. Yet even in the face of these realities, I remind myself that you are not a distant observer, but my provider. You are the one who feeds the sparrows and clothes the lilies. And how much more do you care for me? Lord, I confess that scarcity often tries to shape my thinking. I worry about tomorrow and tighten my grip around what I have. I let fear convince me that there is never enough, that I must hold back, that I must strive endlessly to secure my own future. Forgive me for these moments when I forget that my provision comes not from my efforts alone, but from your faithful hand. Teach me to release control, to live not in fear of lack, but in trust of abundance that flows from you. God, I lift up specific needs today. You know where money feels insufficient, where opportunities seem closed, where doors have not yet opened. I place each of these before you like empty vessels, asking you to fill them in ways that honor your name. Provide employment for those who seek it, wisdom for those making financial decisions, creativity for those building new paths. Provide stability where instability threatens, and peace where anxiety grows heavy. Let me remember that provision is not only about what I receive, but also about how I see. Help me recognize the blessings already around me that I have overlooked. Father, I ask for daily bread, enough for today without being consumed by fear of tomorrow. Give me faith to rest in the rhythm of trust, knowing that as each dawn rises, so does your faithfulness. Keep me from hoarding out of insecurity, and keep me from wasting out of carelessness. Let my resources be tools, not masters. Gifts, not idols. May I use what you provide with wisdom and gratitude, mindful that everything I have is ultimately yours. Lord, I also pray for generosity to rise within me. Let me not only seek provision for myself, but also ask how I might be provision for others. Open my hands to share with those in need, to give without hesitation, to bless without expecting in return. Break the chains of selfishness that cling so tightly, and replace them with joy that flows from giving. Let me become a channel through which your abundance passes, never stagnant but always moving, always reaching, always supplying. God, show me opportunities today to practice generosity. It may be in large acts or in quiet, hidden moments, whether it is giving resources, offering time, sharing encouragement, or extending kindness. Let me live with open hands. Let my giving be marked not by duty, but by delight, not by obligation, but by freedom. Remind me that generosity mirrors your own heart, for you withhold no good thing from your children. Father, I ask that you break the power of financial fear over my life. Where debt weighs heavily, provide pathways to freedom. Where uncertainty causes sleepless nights, bring stability through your wisdom. Where past mistakes haunt decisions, cover them with grace and give me courage to start anew. Let my story be one not of constant struggle, but of steady trust, a testimony that even in lean times your goodness never fails. Lord, protect me from greed disguised as ambition. Let me pursue excellence without bowing to the idol of accumulation. Let me dream boldly without making wealth my God. Remind me that riches without love are empty, and success without generosity is hollow. Align my heart with eternal treasure, where no thief can steal and no decay can destroy. Keep my spirit anchored in contentment, grateful for what I have, yet always ready to share. God, I extend this prayer beyond myself to families in need, to communities lacking stability, to nations suffering scarcity. Pour out provision where famine has taken hold, where poverty crushes hope, where despair has become the language of the streets. Stir hearts to act with compassion, systems to bend toward justice. and opportunities to rise for those forgotten. Let me be part of the answer to the prayers of others, as you move through me to bring relief and joy. Father, I end this moment of prayer with gratitude. Gratitude for what has been given, for what is yet to come, and for the assurance that you see every need before it is spoken. I trust that provision is not only about supply, but about shaping me into one who trusts fully and gives freely. Today, I walk in confidence that I lack nothing essential. For you are my shepherd, and in your care, I will never be left wanting. Father, as I thank you for provision and open my hands to live generously, I am reminded that resources are not an end in themselves, but fuel for the purpose you have written into my life. My heart longs to live not merely surviving, but fulfilling the calling you have placed within me. I bring before you my skills, my work, my talents, and even my uncertainties, asking that you refine them into instruments of service that bring honor to your name. Lord, I confess that at times I have doubted whether I have a true calling. I have looked at the gifts of others and felt small. I have questioned whether my contributions mattered, whether my efforts could truly make a difference. Forgive me for comparing what you gave me with what gave to someone else. Forgive me for despising small beginnings. Help me to see that every gift, every ability, every opportunity is significant when surrendered to you. God, I lay before you the work of my hands, whether simple or complex, seen or unseen. Let it be done with excellence. Keep me from the trap of mediocrity that shrinks effort, and keep me also from perfectionism that crushes joy. Teach me to labor faithfully with diligence, to pursue growth without vanity, to create not for applause, but for purpose. Let excellence flow from devotion, not from pressure. Let my craft reflect integrity, patience, and humility. Father, you have designed each of us uniquely, shaping talents that fit the tasks you prepared. Awaken in me the courage to step fully into what you have called me to do, where fear tells me I am unqualified. Remind me that you equip those you send. Where insecurity whispers that I will fail, remind me that success is measured not in numbers, but in faithfulness. Where distraction pulls me from focus, remind me that my time is holy, my work is worship, and my life is a canvas for your glory. Lord, I bring before you the projects and responsibilities that lie ahead. Some are daunting, others ordinary. Yet each is a chance to reveal your presence. Bless the words I write, the tasks I complete, the hands-on efforts I pour into today. Let creativity flow like fresh water, refreshing even when challenges feel dry. Let persistence strengthen me when progress is slow. Let patience anchor me when results do not come quickly. Help me to remember that what is hidden today may become fruit tomorrow. God, I pray for discernment to know which opportunities are truly aligned with my calling. Protect me from wasting energy on pursuits that only drain but never produce fruit. Guard me from distractions that appear shiny yet steal focus from what truly matters. Open doors that lead me into assignments you have prepared, and close doors that would take me away from them. Give me courage to step forward when doors open, even if I feel unready, and give me humility to wait when you ask me to pause. Father, I also ask that you connect my craft with others who need it. Let my work not exist in isolation, but serve as part of a greater whole. Surround me with people who sharpen, challenge, and encourage. Teach me to collaborate without pride, to receive correction without defensiveness, to celebrate the gifts of others without envy. Let my calling not only bless me, but build community, contributing to something far beyond myself. Lord, keep me faithful in the unseen. When no one applauds, let me still labor with integrity. When no one notices, let me still give my best. Remind me that hidden faithfulness is often the seed of public fruit. Protect me from the hunger for recognition that can corrupt motives. Anchor me in the joy of knowing that you see every effort, every sacrifice, every small act done in love. God, let my calling bring hope where despair lingers, clarity where confusion reigns, and beauty where brokenness resides. Let my hands be instruments of healing, my voice an instrument of encouragement, my actions an instrument of transformation. May the excellence I pursue not glorify me, but draw others closer to you. Let the work of my life echo into eternity, carrying weight far beyond what I can measure now. Father, I dedicate my talents, my labor, my craft once more into your hands. Shape them, refine them, expand them as you will, remove what distracts, nurture what reflects your nature, and multiply what bears fruit. Let my days not drift into meaningless routine, but rise into purposeful expression of who you made me to be. Today, I walk not as one wandering aimlessly, but as one called, gifted, and sent. Let my life itself become a prayer of excellence, lived in the rhythm of your purpose and sustained by your grace. Father, as I place my calling and the work of my hands into your care, I recognize that purpose is never lived in isolation. The gifts you have given me are meant to touch the lives of others, and the path ahead is shaped not only by my labor, but by the relationships I nurture. Some of these connections bring joy and strength, while others carry pain and strain. I bring them all before you now, asking that you guide me in love, restore what is broken, and keep me faithful in every bond entrusted to me. Lord, I begin with gratitude for the people who stand with me, friends who listen, family who encourage, mentors who guide, companions who walk beside me. Their presence is a reminder that life was never meant to be walked alone. Help me to cherish them, to express appreciation rather than take them for granted, to invest time and attention into their lives they have invested into mine. Teach me to listen with patience, to speak with kindness, and to serve without expecting return. God, I also bring before you the relationships that carry strain. There are names that stir pain when I remember them, conversations that left wounds, memories that ache with disappointment. Some conflicts remain unresolved, some words remain unspoken, some distances remain unbridged. I place these before you, not to bury them, but to invite your healing. Where I have caused harm, give me courage to confess. Where I have been hurt, give me strength to forgive. Where walls have been built, give me grace to extend a hand. Father, I confess that pride often keeps me from reconciliation. I want to be right more than I want to be at peace. I hold to offense more tightly than to compassion. Break down this pride in me. Teach me humility that values relationship over victory, tenderness over stubbornness, unity over self-justification. Remind me that reconciliation is not weakness, but strength, not surrender, but triumph of love. Lord, I also pray for wisdom in setting boundaries. Love does not mean allowing harm to continue unchecked. Teach me when to lean in and when to step back, when to embrace and when to release. Let my boundaries be shaped not by bitterness, but by clarity, not by fear, but by discernment. Protect me from being hardened by wounds, yet guard me from enabling patterns that destroy. Help me to love deeply without losing the wholeness you have given me. God, I lift up families torn by division, friendships fractured by betrayal, communities wounded by misunderstanding. You are the God who rebuilds what is broken, who restores what seems beyond repair. Pour out reconciliation where estrangement has lingered for years. Soften hearts that have grown cold. Melt bitterness that has calcified. Replace suspicion with trust, anger with gentleness, silence with dialogue. Let forgiveness flow like a river that washes away old debris and makes space for new growth. Father, let my relationships reflect your heart. May I be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. May I seek to understand before seeking to be understood. May I offer patience in moments of tension and encouragement in moments of weakness. May I be a source of stability when others feel shaken, a source of peace when others feel restless, a source of hope when others feel weary. Lord, I bring before you relationships that are yet to come. I do not know the faces or the names, but you already see them. Prepare my heart to welcome them without judgment, to build connections rooted in sincerity, to extend kindness without hesitation. Protect me from alliances that lead me astray, and draw me toward companions who sharpen, strengthen, and align me with your will. God, I also ask for courage to let go when you call me to release. Some relationships may not continue for a lifetime, and clinging to them out of fear or nostalgia can hinder both me and them. Teach me to trust your timing, to bless those I release, to walk forward without resentment. Let every goodbye be wrapped in grace, and every ending become a seed for new beginnings. Father, may reconciliation not be limited to my personal circle, but extend into the wider world. Use me as a bridge where division has torn communities apart. Let my actions and words testify that unity is possible, that love is stronger than hatred, that peace is more powerful than conflict. Give me courage to step into difficult conversations with gentleness, to stand for justice without violence, to embody compassion in spaces of discord. Lord, I end this prayer with a heart open to the mystery of relationships. Some will strengthen me, some will test me, some will change me, and all of them will shape me. Teach me to honor each one as sacred, to walk in love even when it costs me, to forgive even when it hurts me, to rejoice even when it humbles me. Let my relationships become living testimonies of grace, reconciliation, and the love that flows endlessly from you. Father, as I lift before you the relationships that shape my present, I cannot help but turn my heart toward those who represent the future, the next generation, whether they are my own children, the children of my community, or the countless young lives I may never meet, are precious in your sight. They carry within them both promise and vulnerability. They are arrows waiting to be released, voices waiting to be heard, lives waiting to be shaped by truth and love. I bring them before you now, asking that your hand rest upon them with guidance, protection, and blessing. Lord, I pray for children growing up in a world filled with noise and confusion. So many voices compete for their attention, some speaking life, others sowing deception. Shield their minds from lies that distort identity, from messages that twist value, from influences that erode innocence. Let them hear your voice louder than all the rest, a voice that calls them chosen, treasured, and purposed. Surround them with mentors and friends who reflect your goodness and who draw them closer to the truth of who they are in you. God, I ask for protection over their purity. Guard their eyes from what corrupts, their ears from what pollutes, their hearts from what wounds too deeply. Place a hedge of safety around their steps, whether in classrooms, online spaces, or social circles. Let them walk in environments that nurture growth instead of crushing it, that encourage dreams instead of extinguishing them, that honor dignity instead of demeaning it. Protect them not only from visible harm, but also from the subtle pressures that seek to mold them into something less than what you created. Father, I speak blessing over their identity. May they never doubt their worth or question their belonging. May they grow confident not because of achievements, but because of the unshakable truth that they are made in your image. Break off comparison before it takes root, and silence insecurity before it steals their joy. Teach them to celebrate the uniqueness you have woven into their lives, and give them courage to walk boldly in the path you set before them. Lord, I ask for wisdom to be planted within them, even from a young age. Let discernment blossom in their choices, even when temptation surrounds them. Give them the courage to stand for what is right, even when the crowd moves in another direction. Let kindness be their reflex, humility their strength, and compassion their mark. Raise them into leaders who do not dominate, but serve, who do not manipulate, but inspire, who do not destroy, but build. God, I also pray for their companions. Surround them with friends who uplift rather than tear down, who encourage rather than belittle, who walk alongside them in integrity rather than lead them into harm. Protect them from destructive influences that lure them toward despair, addiction, or rebellion. Instead, bring into their lives people who reflect your light, who call forth their potential, who believe in them when they struggle to believe in themselves. Father, I pray for parents, guardians, and mentors who guide these children. Strengthen them with patience when days feel long, wisdom when decisions feel heavy, and grace when mistakes are made. Remind them that their words and actions carry power, shaping futures in ways they may never fully see. Encourage them when they feel unseen, and reassure them that their efforts are not in vain. Let their example be a living testimony of love, faith, and resilience. Lord, I bring before you children who are suffering, those in broken homes, those in places of poverty, those in lands scarred by conflict. Stretch your hand of mercy toward them. Provide safety where danger lurks, nourishment where hunger gnaws, comfort where loneliness isolates. Raise up communities willing to stand in the gap, to provide stability where chaos reigns, to extend compassion where indifference has ruled. Let no child be forgotten, overlooked, or discarded. God, I ask that you awaken in this generation dreams that reflect your heart. Plant visions that outlast fleeting trends. Ignite passions that align with eternal purposes. Stir creativity that heals and inspires. Let them be builders of bridges where division thrives. Seekers of justice where oppression lingers. Carriers of hope where despair has taken hold. Equip them with courage to speak, resilience to endure, and humility to serve. Father, I place the next generation into your hands, knowing that they are not accidents of time, but intentional creations of your will. Guide their steps when paths are unclear. Guard their hearts when pressures are heavy, and grow their faith when questions overwhelm. Let them rise not only to inherit what has been built, but to create what has not yet been imagined. May they be known not for fear but for faith, not for compromise but for conviction, not for apathy but for love. Father, as I place the next generation into your care and entrust their future to your keeping, I turn again to the state of my own inner life. For even as I pray for others to walk in strength, I recognize my own need for peace within. My mind is often restless, pulled in many directions by worries and expectations. My emotions sometimes sway like branches in the wind, vulnerable to every change in circumstance. Lord, I long for the kind of peace that steadies, the resilience that endures, the calm that anchors no matter what storms arise. God, I confess how easily anxiety finds its way into my thoughts. I replay conversations, second-guess decisions, anticipate problems that may never come. My imagination paints worst-case scenarios more vividly than promises of hope. This weight exhausts me before the day has even begun. I lay these racing thoughts before you now. Quiet them with the assurance of your presence. Replace their noise with the stillness of trust. Teach me to rest my mind not on shifting possibilities, but on unshakable truth. Lord, I ask you to guard me from the cycle of overthinking that steals joy. When I dwell too long on regrets of the past or fears of the future, I lose sight of the gift of today. Help me to live in the present moment, attentive to the grace it holds. Let gratitude interrupt the spiral of worry. Let hope interrupt the voice of despair. Let trust interrupt the loop of doubt. Give me the discipline to stop rehearsing trouble and instead rehearse your faithfulness. Father, I pray for emotional resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to feel deeply without being crushed, to endure hardship without losing heart. Life brings disappointments, losses, and unexpected blows. I cannot avoid them, but I can be strengthened within them. Root me in your love so deeply that no storm can uproot me. Let resilience rise not from denial of pain, but from confidence that even pain can be redeemed. Make me unshaken not because nothing touches me, but because nothing separates me from you. God, I ask for protection against the heaviness of discouragement. When progress feels slow and prayers seem unanswered, I am tempted to lose hope. Guard me from despair that whispers it is pointless to continue. Remind me that growth often takes place unseen, beneath the surface, before fruit ever appears. Encourage me with glimpses of your hand at work, with reminders of past faithfulness, with whispers of future promise. Keep me steady in the waiting, resilient in the silence. Lord, I bring before you my emotions, both the ones I welcome and the ones I wish away. Teach me not to fear sadness, for even tears can water seeds of growth. Teach me not to despise anger, but to channel it toward justice and not destruction. Teach me not to suppress joy, but to let it flow freely even in small things. Let every emotion find its place under your guidance. None dominating. All surrendered. Bring balance where there is excess. Healing where there is wounding. Freedom where there is suppression. Father, I ask for resilience in relationships when conflict arises. Protect me from being easily offended, from reacting with harshness, from closing my heart when I feel misunderstood. Teach me patience that listens, humility that yields, gentleness that disarms. Let me not be fragile in love, but strong enough to endure tension, to seek reconciliation, to forgive quickly. Strengthen my heart so that it remains open even after pain, able to give and receive without fear. God, I also ask for peace when the world around me feels unstable. News of violence, division, and uncertainty presses heavily. I refuse to let external chaos dictate my inner condition. Let your peace guard my mind like a fortress, resilient against panic, steady against fear. Anchor me in the truth that you reign above every storm, that no matter how dark the night, light is never extinguished. Keep me hopeful in a world that often chooses despair. Lord, let my resilience be a witness to others. When people see me calm in pressure, patient in trials, joyful in hardship, may they recognize it is not my strength, but yours. Let peace flow from me into the spaces I enter. Changing atmospheres, quieting tensions, comforting hearts. Make me an instrument of stability in a fragile world, a reminder that it is possible to remain whole even when everything shakes. Father, I yield my restless mind and tender emotions to you once more. Breathe calm into my thoughts, strength into my heart, and resilience into my spirit. Teach me to rise from this moment, carrying peace like armor, not fragile but enduring. Let me move through this day with serenity that cannot be stolen, with hope that cannot be extinguished, with joy that cannot be crushed. For in you my mind is guarded, my heart is strengthened, and my spirit is anchored in unshakable peace. Father, as peace steadies my mind and resilience strengthens my heart, I recognize that some patterns in my life run deeper than fleeting emotions. There are cycles that seem to repeat themselves, habits that tighten their grip, and strongholds that whisper, "I will never be free." I come to you now with honesty, asking that you break every chain that binds me. I no longer want to live caught in the loop of yesterday's failures. I long to walk forward, unhindered, into the freedom you have promised. Lord, I confess that there are places where I have stumbled again and again, whether through weakness, fear, or compromise. I have returned to patterns I thought I left behind. These cycles exhaust me, leaving me ashamed and doubting change is possible. Yet I know that my weakness does not cancel your strength. You are greater than every addiction, every hidden trap, every generational pattern. I bring them all into your light, exposing what I once tried to hide, believing that only in your presence can true freedom begin. God, I ask that you dismantle every stronghold that has been built in my mind. Lies I have believed for years have laid foundations of fear, of shame, of resignation. Tear down these walls brick by brick until no trace remains. Replace them with truth that is solid, unshakable, and life-giving. Where I once thought I was powerless, remind me that your spirit within me carries authority. Where I once believed change was impossible, remind me that nothing is too hard for you. Father, I also recognize that some cycles did not begin with me, but were inherited through generations. Patterns of fear, of brokenness, of unhealthy choices seem woven into family history. But I believe that with you, generational chains can be cut. I declare that these patterns stop with me. My children and those who come after me will not inherit the same bondage. Let blessing replace curse, wholeness replace fragmentation, life replace death. Write a new story for my family, one marked by freedom and renewal. Lord, I pray for deliverance from habits that drain life, whether they are outward actions or inward attitudes. Let them lose their hold. Break the grip of procrastination that steals opportunity. Break the grip of anger that wounds relationships. Break the grip of fear that silences dreams. Break the grip of bitterness that poisons joy. Break the grip of shame that hides my true identity. Replace each one with the opposite fruit of your spirit until my life reflects the freedom you designed. God, I ask for courage in the daily choices that build new paths. Freedom is not only a single breakthrough, but a series of small steps. Give me strength to choose differently today than I did yesterday. Surround me with people who will encourage me when I falter and hold me accountable when I am tempted to turn back. Teach me to rely on your spirit in moments of weakness, calling out for help instead of surrendering to defeat. Father, I pray for the renewing of my mind. Let my thoughts no longer default to negativity or fear. Transform the way I see myself, not as a captive bound to old patterns, but as a child walking in liberty. Teach me to speak words of life over my circumstances, to declare truth when lies press in, to believe in victory even before I see it unfold. Let my inner dialogue shift from despair to hope, from resignation to expectation. Lord, I also pray for others trapped in cycles of pain. So many live believing they cannot escape the patterns that bind them. Reach into their lives with the same freedom I seek. Break chains of addiction, cycles of abuse, patterns of despair. Open prison doors that have long been shut. Let testimonies of deliverance rise, so that communities once marked by bondage become places of healing and transformation. God, I ask that every door once open to darkness be closed. Where I invited compromise, close it now. Where I tolerated sin, shut it firmly. Where I believed lies, silence them with truth. Seal those places with your presence, so that nothing may re-enter. At the same time, open new doors to life, to to joy, to purpose, to growth. Teach me to walk boldly through them without hesitation, knowing that freedom is not only leaving behind, but also stepping into what is new. Father, I believe that freedom is not a distant dream, but a present reality in you. I rise from this prayer not as one defeated by the past, but as one empowered for the future. I am not defined by cycles that once trapped me, nor am I condemned by strongholds that once mocked me. I am defined by your love, secured by your grace, and sustained by your spirit. Today I choose freedom, and I trust that with each step, the chains that once held me will fade into nothing, replaced by the sound of victory and the rhythm of new life. Father, as the chains of old cycles fall and strongholds lose their grip, I realize that freedom is not only about what I leave behind, but also about what I step into. It is not enough to be empty of the past. I long to be filled with something new, something holy, something alive. I need fresh fire from you, a new anointing that awakens my spirit, ignites my heart, and empowers me to live fully for your purpose. Lord, I confess that there are times when my passion has faded, when what once burned brightly has dimmed to embers. Responsibilities, disappointments, and weariness have smothered what used to be vibrant. I have gone through motions without the flame of desire, spoken words without the weight of conviction, prayed prayers without the spark of expectancy. Forgive me for letting the fire grow cold. Breathe upon me again until what is dim bursts into flame, until my soul burns with the urgency of your presence. God, I ask you to pour fresh oil over my life. Anoint my mind so that my thoughts are clear and aligned with your wisdom. Anoint my lips so that my words carry life. Encouragement and truth. Anoint my hands so that everything I touch reflects integrity and love. Anoint my steps so that each movement carries the authority of one who walks in divine purpose. Let the anointing flow not as a momentary feeling, but as a continual stream, sustaining me day by day, equipping me for every good work. Father, I pray for fire that consumes what does not belong. Burn away complacency that lulls me into comfort. Burn away doubt that paralyzes me in hesitation. Burn away fear that keeps me from stepping forward. Let the flame refine me like gold, removing impurities until what remains is strong and pure. Let it not destroy me but shape me, not harm me but heal me, not weaken me but empower me to live with greater clarity and conviction. Lord, I ask for passion that is not rooted in emotion alone, but in devotion. I do not seek temporary excitement, but steady flame that cannot be quenched. Place within me a hunger that refuses to settle, a thirst that longs for more of you, a drive that presses past distractions and obstacles. Let this fire push me into deeper prayer, into bolder obedience, into greater sacrifice. Let it move me beyond comfort zones into places where your presence is revealed and your power is known. God, I also ask that this fire not remain only within me, but spread outward. Let it touch my family, warming cold hearts and awakening sleeping faith. Let it touch my community, stirring unity and compassion where division and apathy linger. Let it touch my workplace, bringing integrity and excellence into every effort. Let it touch strangers I encounter, leaving traces of hope and light even in brief interactions. Make my life a torch that others can see, not to glorify me, but to point them toward you. Father, I pray for anointing not only for myself, but for all who seek to live with purpose. Raise up leaders who are not merely skilled, but spirit-filled. Teachers who are not merely informed, but inspired. Artists who are not merely creative, but consecrated. Parents who are not merely providers, but nurturers of faith. Let fresh fire fall across generations, awakening a movement of people marked not by compromise, but by conviction, not by apathy, but by passion, not by fear, but by courage. Lord, I long for your Spirit to overflow in ways that surpass my understanding. Let dreams and visions awaken. Let creativity and boldness flourish. Let wisdom and discernment sharpen. Fill me until I cannot contain it, until what you pour into me spills out naturally, touching lives without effort, because it flows from abundance. Let the anointing break yokes, heal wounds, and restore joy. Let it remind me that I am not walking in my strength, but in yours. God, I yield every part of me to be a vessel of this fire. My voice, my actions, my resources, my time, take them and use them as carriers of your presence. Do not let me grow stagnant. Do not let me settle for yesterday's flame. Do not let me forget that each day requires new filling. Just as manna fell daily for the Israelites in the wilderness, let fresh fire fall daily for me, enough for the day, enough to carry me into tomorrow, enough to remind me that I live by your Spirit and not my own. Father, I rise from this place asking not to be the same. Let something within me ignite and never fade. Let me burn with compassion where others are hurting, with boldness where others are silent, with faith where others are doubting, with hope where others are despairing. Set my life ablaze with your glory, so that everywhere I go, the warmth of your love and the power of your Spirit are unmistakably present. Father, as fresh fire ignites within me and your anointing rests upon my life, I realize that there are still wounds I carry that need your gentle touch. Fire empowers me to move forward, but healing restores me so I do not limp along the path. Some scars remind me of past pain. Some hidden places within still ache when pressed, and some fractures remain unhealed, though I tried to ignore them. I bring all of these before you now, not hiding, not pretending, but trusting that you are the God who makes broken things whole again. Lord, I confess that I often try to push past pain instead of pausing for healing. I cover wounds with business, distract myself with work, or numb myself with noise. But unresolved pain always surfaces, shaping my words, my actions, my choices. I cannot live fully while pieces of my soul remain fractured. I surrender these places to you, the grief I buried, the disappointments I minimized, the betrayals I brushed aside. Touch them with your hand until what once blood becomes a testimony of restoration. God, I ask for healing in my body. You know where weakness lingers, where sickness presses, where strength fades. You formed every cell, every muscle, every breath, and nothing is hidden from your eyes. Where there is pain, bring relief. Where there is disease, bring renewal. Where there is exhaustion, bring vitality. Teach me also to steward my health with wisdom, honoring the body you have entrusted to me. Let my physical strength rise, not only for my sake, but so I may serve with energy and endurance. Father, I also pray for healing in my mind. When thoughts spiral with worry, when memories sting with regret, when doubt shadows hope, speak truth that calms and restores. Replace fear with courage, shame with dignity, confusion with clarity. Heal the thought patterns that trap me, the lies that enslave me, the voices that condemn me. Let my mind be a sanctuary where peace dwells, where wisdom grows, where faith thrives. Lord, I bring before you the wounds of my heart, broken trust, unfulfilled hopes, and words that cut deep have left marks. Heal the places where bitterness took root, where anger grew wild, where sorrow left emptiness. Teach me to forgive those who wounded me, not because they deserve it, but because freedom cannot grow where chains remain. Heal me so that love flows again without fear, so that joy returns without hesitation, so that compassion rises without restraint. God, I extend this prayer beyond myself. So many around me walk carrying silent pain. Some hide illnesses, some bury grief, some endure rejection, some battle loneliness. Stretch your healing hand toward them. Comfort those who mourn. Restore those who are broken. Lift those who are weary. Let communities become places of restoration instead of isolation. Places of encouragement instead of judgment. Places of renewal instead of despair. Father, I pray for healing in families, where division has left fractures. Bring reconciliation, where silence has replaced laughter. Bring conversation, where wounds between generations linger. Bring understanding and forgiveness. Restore harmony where conflict has stolen peace. Rebuild trust where betrayal has shattered it. Let households once marked by pain become sanctuaries of love. Lord, I ask for restoration of dreams once lost. Some hopes were abandoned after disappointment. Some visions faded after failure. Some desires were silenced by fear. Breathe life into them again. Show me that no failure is final. No season is wasted. No dream is beyond redemption. Restore joy in pursuing them, courage in attempting them, perseverance in carrying them. Let what was once dismissed as impossible become a testimony of your power to redeem. God, I also pray for healing in the wider world, nations scared by war, communities ravaged by injustice, lands wounded by disaster all cry out for renewal. Pour out mercy where devastation lingers. Inspire leaders with wisdom that heals rather than divides. Move people to act with compassion that restores rather than destroys. Let your spirit bring wholeness where humanity's efforts fall short. Father, I believe that wholeness is not the absence of scars, but the transformation of them. Let my life bear marks not of defeat, but of redemption. Not of despair, but of hope. Not of brokenness, but of restoration. As you heal me, let me become a vessel of healing for others, carrying comfort where there is pain, encouragement where there is loss, and faith where there is doubt. I rise from this prayer trusting that no wound is too deep, no fracture too severe, no loss too great for your restoring hand to redeem. Father, as you heal my wounds and restore what was broken, I see more clearly that life is made up of countless choices. Each decision, whether large or small, shapes my path. Some are simple, requiring little thought, but others weigh heavily, carrying the power to alter the course of my journey. I come to you in this moment not only for healing, but for wisdom to walk rightly. I do not want to wander aimlessly or stumble into confusion. I long for clarity that comes from your presence, for direction that is steady and secure. Lord, I confess that at times I have rushed into decisions without seeking your counsel. I trusted my own reasoning, leaned on my own understanding, and later faced regret. Forgive me for those moments when impatience led me ahead of your timing, when pride convinced me I knew enough, when fear pushed me into hurried choices. Teach me the discipline of pausing, of waiting, of listening before moving. Help me to remember that clarity often comes not in noise, but in stillness, not in haste, but in patience, not in striving, but in surrender. God, I ask for guidance in the choices that lie before me today. Some are obvious and practical: how I spend my time, how I use my resources, how I respond to the people around me. Others are hidden, unfolding quietly beneath the surface shifts in direction, opportunities to embrace, doors to walk through or close. Give me discernment to recognize which paths align with your will and which are distractions disguised as opportunities. Let peace be the compass that confirms my steps, and let unease warn me when I stray from your way. Father, I also pray for courage to follow your leading once clarity is given. Too often I hesitate, second-guessing the answer even after you have shown it. Fear of failure, fear of others' opinions, fear of the unknown holds me back. Break those fears and replace them with bold obedience. Remind me that when you guide, you also equip. Remind me that when you call me forward, you also walk beside me. Help me not only to hear, but to act. Lord, I bring before you decisions that involve relationships. Teach me when to pursue reconciliation and when to allow space. Teach me when to speak and when to remain silent. Teach me when to continue investing and when to release without bitterness. Let love guide me in every choice, even when choices are difficult. Guard me from selfness disguised as wisdom and from recklessness disguised as boldness. Align my heart so that every decision reflects compassion and truth. God, I ask for guidance in my work and calling. Opportunities arise that seem promising. Yet not every open door is meant to be walked through. Show me clearly which ones are assignments from you and which are detours. Give me insight to see beyond surface appeal, to recognize the long-term fruit rather than the temporary gain. Protect me from chasing recognition over purpose, success over faithfulness, ease over growth. Let my decisions in career and calling always serve a higher purpose, never compromising integrity for advancement. Father, I pray also for financial decisions. Money carries weight, and choices about it can bless or burden. Give me wisdom to steward resources with foresight, generosity, and balance. Keep me from the lure of greed, from reckless spending, from short-sighted planning. Teach me to invest not only in what benefits me, but also in what serves others. Let my financial decisions reflect trust in your provision, rather than anxiety about scarcity. Lord, I ask for clarity in spiritual decisions as well. Teach me when to press deeper into disciplines, when to fast, when to rest, when to serve, when to speak, and when to withdraw into solitude. Let me be sensitive to the prompting of your Spirit, not ignoring subtle nudges that guide me. Help me discern the difference between my own desires and your direction, between fleeting emotion and lasting conviction. Keep me attuned so that I do not miss divine moments hidden in ordinary days. God, I also pray for those facing life-altering decisions, families choosing paths for their future, individuals discerning careers, leaders weighing choices that affect many. Pour out wisdom in abundance. Silence conflicting voices that confuse. Let unity rise in divided places where decisions must be made together. Protect communities from decisions rooted in selfish ambition or fear. Replace them with choices that bring justice, healing, and hope. Father, I place every crossroad of my life into your hands. I choose not to walk in guesswork, but in guidance, not in confusion, but in clarity. Be the lamp to my feet when darkness surrounds me, the voice behind me when uncertainty presses in, the steady hand before me when paths diverge. I trust that no decision made in surrender to you will ever be wasted. Lead me step by step, choice by choice, into the fullness of the life you have designed, where each decision becomes not a burden, but an opportunity to walk more closely with you. Father, as you grant me clarity for the decisions before me, I know that even the right choices will not always lead to easy paths. Life carries trials that test resolve, storms that shake confidence, and obstacles that demand perseverance. I do not ask for a life without hardship, but I do ask for the strength to endure, to remain faithful when the journey is long, and to keep walking when the weight feels overwhelming. Teach me to face trials not as punishments, but as opportunities to grow stronger, deeper, and closer to you. Lord, I confess that trials often catch me off guard. I expect smoothness where the road turns rough, ease where resistance rises. My first instinct is to resist pain, to ask why, to search for escape. But in those moments, I forget that trials refine. They carve away pride. They strengthen resolve. They reveal the foundation on which I stand. Help me to embrace this truth that storms are not always meant to destroy me, but sometimes to anchor me. Give me the courage to stay, to learn, to persevere even when my heart longs to quit. God, I ask for strength when my body grows weary. There are days when fatigue presses heavily, when every step feels labored, when energy runs dry. On those days, remind me that my strength does not come from myself alone. You are the source that never runs out, the well that never empties, the strength that renews me like eagle's wings. Lift me beyond exhaustion into endurance, beyond weariness into perseverance, beyond limits into new capacity that reflects your power. Father, I pray also for resilience when my heart feels fragile. Disappointment, rejection, and loss press hard against the soul. Teach me not to crumble under their weight, but to lean into your comfort. Wrap me in assurance when discouragement whispers. Hold me steady when grief overwhelms. Let me feel sorrow without drowning, pain without despair. weakness without collapse. Restore joy in the midst of mourning, hope in the midst of uncertainty, courage in the midst of fear. Lord, I bring before you the trials that press against my faith. Doubts rise when prayers seem unanswered, when silence stretches long, when the evidence of change is unseen. Guard me from letting trials shake my trust. Teach me to believe even in the waiting, to sing even in the dark, to stand even when everything shakes. Let my faith not be shallow, collapsing at the first sign of struggle, but rooted deeply enough to withstand every storm. God, I pray for perseverance not only in hardship, but in the daily grind where monotony tempts me to drift. Some battles are loud and sudden, others quiet and constant. Give me endurance in the slow processes, in the seasons where progress feels invisible, in the times when the only victory is showing up again. Teach me that perseverance is not only about surviving trials, but about faithfully continuing when nothing seems to change. Father, I also intercede for those around me enduring trials greater than mine. Some face illnesses that linger, losses that cut deep, conflicts that wound endlessly. Strengthen them where their strength has failed. Hold them where their faith has faltered. Remind them that they are not forgotten, not abandoned, not forsaken. Surround them with support, encouragement, and practical help. Let them find perseverance not in their capacity, but in your sustaining love. Lord, help me to remember that perseverance is not passive waiting, but active trust. It is choosing to keep walking, to keep believing, to keep loving even when results do not come quickly. Let me not confuse delay with denial, or struggle with failure. Teach me to see every step as part of a larger picture, every challenge as a tool shaping my character, every trial as preparation for something greater than I can see now. God, let perseverance bear fruit in me, patience where I was once restless, humility where I was once proud, wisdom where I was once impulsive, faith where I was once fragile. Let me emerge from trials not bitter but stronger, not hardened but tender, not defeated but victorious. Let my scars speak of survival, my endurance testify of your strength, my story encourage others not to give up. Father, I entrust every trial past, present, and future into your hands. I choose to persevere not by sheer will but by steady reliance on you. Be my strength when mine runs out, my courage when fear presses in, my endurance when the road stretches long. Let me walk faithfully until the end, knowing that perseverance always carries promise, that trials always yield transformation, and that every step taken in trust will one day reveal the glory of your sustaining grace. Father, as you grant me strength to persevere through trials and endurance to keep walking when the road is long, I realize that joy is not meant to wait until struggles end. Joy is a gift that can exist even in the middle of storms, a song that rises in the night, a light that shines when everything around feels dark. I turn my heart now not toward what is lacking, but toward what is abundant, choosing to celebrate your goodness and to overflow with gratitude for what you have already done. Lord, I confess that too often I let gratitude slip from my hands. I focus on what is unfinished, what is missing, what is broken, and in doing so, I miss the countless blessings that surround me. Forgive me for allowing discontent to cloud my vision. Teach me to notice the small graces woven into every day, the laughter of a child, the kindness of a friend, the beauty of a sunrise, the gift of breath itself. Let me not take for granted what many long for, but never have. God, I thank you for the trials I once resented, but now see as teachers. Though painful in the moment, they carved deeper wells of resilience and drew me closer to you. Thank you for the prayers that were answered in unexpected ways, for the delays that protected me, for the disappointments that redirected me. Thank you for the provision that came at the exact moment I needed it, for the friendships that lifted me when I was weak, for the peace that carried me when nothing else could. Gratitude transforms even my scars into testimonies of grace. Father, I ask you to help me cultivate a spirit of joy that is not dependent on circumstances. Let me not wait for everything to align before I celebrate. Teach me to rejoice even in waiting, to sing even in uncertainty, to dance even in the valley. Let joy spring not from fleeting pleasures, but from the steady reality of your presence. Let it become strength when I am weary, courage when I am afraid, and light when I feel surrounded by shadows. Lord, let gratitude flow beyond my lips into my actions. May I live each day as an offering of thanks, working with diligence, because I am grateful for opportunities, serving others because I am grateful for love, giving generously because I am grateful for provision. Let celebration not remain private, but spill outward, blessing those around me. May my joy encourage those who despair, my gratitude lift those who complain, my celebration inspire those who have forgotten how to hope. God, I pray that joy becomes a safeguard for my heart when bitterness tries to creep in. Let gratitude silence it. When envy tempts me, let thanksgiving redirect me. When heaviness weighs me down, let celebration lift me. Anchor me in a joy that cannot be stolen by circumstance, a gratitude that cannot be silenced by disappointment, a celebration that cannot be dimmed by delay. Father, I also pray for joy to rise in the lives of those I love. Where sadness has lingered, let laughter return. Where hopelessness has reigned, let gratitude awaken. Where burdens have pressed, let celebration break forth. Remind them that joy is not denial of reality, but recognition of your goodness within it. Let homes be filled with songs, communities with thanksgiving, gatherings with celebration. Let joy become contagious, spreading from heart to heart until despair has no place to hide. Lord, I remember those walking through pain who struggle to find joy. Meet them where they are. Whisper hope into their sorrow. Shine light into their darkness. Lift gratitude from their ashes. Show them even one reason to rejoice today, one glimpse of beauty, one reminder of love. Sometimes celebration begins with something small, and from that seed, joy grows again. Be their comfort until joy is restored, their strength until laughter returns. God, let my life carry the rhythm of celebration. May I not only thank you in prayer, but also live gratefully in practice. May I honor relationships, savor moments, notice beauty, and give thanks daily. May joy be heard in my voice, seen in my face, felt in my presence. Let me be known not for heaviness, but for hope, not for complaints, but for gratitude, not for despair, but for celebration. Father, I end this prayer rejoicing that you are faithful. I celebrate not only what you have already done, but what you are yet to do. Gratitude turns my eyes toward the future with expectation. Joy steadies my steps with confidence. Celebration strengthens my heart with hope. Today I choose to live in the fullness of joy, the richness of thanksgiving, and the freedom of celebrating your goodness in every season. Father, as joy rises in my spirit and gratitude fills my heart, I realize that my prayer cannot remain centered only on myself. The blessings I celebrate are not mine alone, and the burdens of this world are too heavy for many to carry without help. You call me to stand in the gap, to intercede for others, to lift their names, their struggles, and their hopes before you. I come now not only as a child seeking for myself, but as a friend, a neighbor, a servant carrying the weight of others in prayer. Lord, I begin with those closest to me, the people whose lives intersect with mine every day. I lift family members, friends, and loved ones who face challenges I may not fully understand. Some wrestle with sickness, some with financial strain, some with broken relationships, and some with quiet battles hidden from everyone's eyes. Place your hand upon each one, where they need healing. Grant restoration, where they need provision. Open doors, where they need peace. Speak calm into their souls. Remind them they are not alone, for even now they are being prayed for. God, I intercede for those who feel forgotten. So many walk through life invisible to the world, the elderly who sit in silence, the homeless who are overlooked, the single parent overwhelmed with exhaustion, the child who longs for encouragement. Let them feel seen today. Send comfort to their loneliness, provision to their lack, hope to their despair. Stir my heart to notice them, not only in prayer but in action, to be a vessel through which your care reaches them. Father, I lift up communities weighed down by conflict and division, where voices clash and unity seems impossible. Breathe peace, where injustice wounds and anger festers. Bring healing, where fear divides neighbors. Replace suspicion with trust. Raise up leaders who serve with humility, who listen with compassion, who act with integrity. Let communities once fractured become places of restoration, bridges where walls once stood, and circles of belonging where isolation once reigned. Lord, I pray for those carrying responsibilities that affect many lives. Leaders in government, teachers in schools, doctors in hospitals, workers who serve unseen all face pressures that demand wisdom and endurance. Strengthen them where they are weary. Protect them from corruption. Encourage them when criticism overwhelms. Let their decisions and actions reflect justice, kindness, and truth. Guide them so that the weight they bear does not crush them but shapes them into instruments of blessing. God, I intercede for those facing crisis around the world, families displaced by war, children caught in famine, communities devastated by disaster, nations torn by violence. The burdens are overwhelming, and yet I know you see each face, each tear, each cry, Extend mercy where suffering is greatest. Send relief where resources are scarce. Inspire compassion in those who have the ability to act. Remind the suffering that they are not abandoned, that even in the darkest valleys, your presence can still be found. Father, I also pray for the hurting within the walls of faith communities. Many gather in worship but carry unspoken pain. Some question their worth. Some wrestle with doubt. Some feel distant from you even as they sing. Breathe renewal into their spirits. Heal wounds inflicted by others. Restore joy lost through disappointment. Reignite faith dulled by weariness. Let churches be places of honesty, compassion, and safety where burdens are shared and prayers are carried together. Lord, I remember those who labor quietly in intercession day after day, the unseen warriors who bend their knees in silence, lifting names known only to you. Strengthen them in their persistence. Encourage them with glimpses of answered prayer. Remind them that no prayer is wasted, no tear unnoticed, no cry unheard. Bless their hidden faithfulness. For through their prayers chains are broken, lives are changed, and hope is restored. God, I intercede for future generations once again. Not only for their protection, but for their courage. Let them rise as voices of justice, builders of peace, carriers of light. Equip them to face challenges my generation has not overcome, and to dream dreams my generation has not imagined. May they inherit not cycles of despair, but legacies of faith. Not burdens of division, but seeds of reconciliation. Father, I offer myself as part of the answer to these prayers. Do not let my intercession end with words, but let it shape my actions. Show me where I can serve, whom I can encourage, how I can give. Make me sensitive to the needs around me, so that I do not walk past those you have called me to notice. Let my life itself become intercession, lived in such a way that others are lifted, carried, and blessed by the overflow of your love within me. Father, as I lift the burdens of others before you and stand in the gap for those who cannot find words for themselves, my heart turns toward the future. I realize that prayer is not only about what has been carried and what is carried now, but also about what is yet to come. Hope looks beyond the present moment and fixes its gaze on promises that are still unfolding. I do not want to walk through life defined by what was, or even only by what is. I want to live shaped by vision, anchored in the assurance that your plans stretch far beyond what I can imagine. Lord, I confess that sometimes my vision grows dim. Worries about the present blur my ability to see tomorrow with clarity. Disappointments from the past whisper that hope is fragile, that dreams are dangerous, that expectations invite pain. Forgive me for allowing cynicism to take root where hope should flourish. Restore to me the childlike wonder that once believed the impossible, the unshakable trust that once dreamed without fear. Open my eyes to see again the vastness of what you are able to do. God, I thank you that hope is not wishful thinking but confident expectation, rooted in your faithfulness. I remember the times when you carried me through valleys I thought would never end, when you surprised me with blessings I did not anticipate, when you answered prayers in ways far greater than what I had asked. Those memories fuel my vision for the future. If you have been faithful then, you will be faithful again. Hope is not fragile when it rests in you. It is unbreakable because it is tied to your unchanging character. Father, I ask you to stir fresh vision in my heart. Let me not settle into routines so deeply that I forget to dream. Plant seeds of purpose that stretch me beyond what feels safe or comfortable. Show me glimpses of possibilities that reveal your creativity, not just my own ideas. Let my imagination be sanctified, no longer limited by fear or doubt, but expanded by faith. Let me see not only what is, but what could be when touched by your hand. Lord, I pray for hope that endures in waiting. Some promises take time, and impatience tempts me to give up before fulfillment arrives. Teach me to wait without despair, to trust without wavering, to prepare even before evidence appears. Let my waiting be active, filled with faith and expectancy, not passive resignation. Remind me that delay does not mean denial, that every season has a purpose, and that every promise has a time appointed for its unveiling. God, I also pray for vision not only for myself but for my family, my community, and future generations. Let homes be places where dreams are spoken, where encouragement fuels possibilities, where children grow up believing they are created for greatness. Let communities become spaces where vision inspires unity, where shared hope overcomes division, where future promises bring people together in pursuit of something larger than themselves. Father, I intercede for those who have lost hope. Many walk with eyes fixed only on the ground before them, unable to look ahead because despair weighs them down. Breathe life into their weary spirits. Lift their heads to see beyond their current struggle. Show them that tomorrow holds more than repetition of today's pain. Awaken vision where it has died. Renew hope where it has faded. Restore belief where it has been abandoned. Lord, I ask for courage to step toward the vision you reveal. Dreams without action remain dormant, and promises without response remain distant. Strengthen me to take steps of faith, even when the path feels uncertain. Let me not shrink back in fear, but walk forward in confidence. Remind me that hope is not passive. It fuels movement, inspires choices, and shapes destiny. God, let hope be the lens through which I view every challenge. Where others see endings, let me see beginnings. Where others see loss, let me see potential. Where others see obstacles, let me see opportunities. Keep me from despair that blinds, from fear that paralyzes, from doubt that distracts, and anchor me in a hope so steady that no storm can erase it. No delay can weaken it. No trial can shake it. Father, I rise from this prayer with a heart full of vision, eyes lifted toward promises yet to come. I choose not to live defined by past failures or present struggles, but by future possibilities rooted in your goodness. Let hope guide my steps. Let vision shape my choices. Let promises fuel my endurance. For the future is not uncertain when it rests in your hands. And the days ahead are filled with the assurance that what you have spoken, you will surely bring to pass. Father, as this journey of prayer flows to its final chapter, my heart rests in the fullness of all that has been spoken. From the cries of desperation to the songs of gratitude, from the pleas for healing to the bold declarations of hope. You have walked with me through each step, and now I stand in a place of surrender, not defeated but released, not empty but filled, not uncertain but anchored. Every word that has risen from my lips returns to you, and every longing that lingers in my soul finds its home in your presence. Lord, I acknowledge that surrender is not about losing control, but about entrusting control to the one who has always held it. I lay down my plans, my fears, my questions, and even my deepest desires, not because they are unworthy, but because they find their true meaning only when aligned with you. Teach me the peace of letting go, the strength of trusting completely, the joy of yielding to your will. Let surrender be my freedom, not my burden, and let peace become the air I breathe. God, I rest in the assurance that your presence will never leave me. No valley is too deep, no mountain too high, no night too long for your hand to guide me. When I feel small, you remind me that I am carried. When I feel lost, you remind me that I am known. When I feel weary, you remind me that I am sustained. Nothing in this world can separate me from your love, and that truth becomes the steady rhythm of my heart as I step forward into tomorrow. Father, I thank you for the strength this journey has birthed, for the clarity that has risen from stillness, for the courage that has been refined in trial. I thank you for the people who will walk beside me, the opportunities that will open before me, the grace that will meet me anew each day. I thank you for promises not yet seen, for answers still unfolding, for mysteries yet to be revealed. Gratitude is not the end of this prayer, but the posture with which I continue living. Lord, I look toward the future not with fear, but with expectancy. You have shown me that hope is not fragile, but enduring, that joy is not fleeting, but resilient, that faith is not uncertain, but grounded. Whatever lies ahead, I choose to walk in trust. I do not demand to know every step, for it is enough to know that you are with me in each one. My story is safe in your hands, my journey secure in your design, my heart held in your keeping. God, I close this prayer not with finality, but with openness. I leave space for new words, for future cries, for songs yet to be sung. I do not tie it with a conclusion, but release it like incense rising, ongoing, unending, reaching toward you. For prayer is not a ritual to be completed, but a relationship to be lived. Not a task to be checked, but a conversation that continues. This moment is not the end, but simply another beginning. Father, I thank you for every person who has walked through this prayer with me, word by word, thought by thought, heart to heart. To each listener, I offer gratitude for joining this journey to the very end. You are not alone in your struggles, your questions, or your hopes. Together we have carried burdens, sought guidance, embraced healing, celebrated joy, and lifted vision toward the future. I pray that these words have wrapped around you like a shelter, like a light, like a gentle reminder that you are deeply loved. Lord, I ask that this prayer not remain confined to the moment, but ripple outward. Let it inspire further prayers, deeper faith, stronger trust. Let it awaken those who have felt numb, comfort those who have felt broken, strengthen those who have felt weak. May it be a seed that grows long after this recording ends. bearing fruit in lives touched by its presence. And now, as I draw the final lines, I leave you with an invitation. If this journey has spoken to you, if you have found comfort, strength, or encouragement within it, I welcome you to share your own feelings and prayers in the space below. Let this become not only a voice that speaks to you, but a community that speaks with you, lifting one another in faith and hope. Thank you, dear friend, for staying until the end. Your presence here is not small, and your faith matters deeply. If these words have blessed you, I invite you to continue walking with us, to subscribe to this channel so you will not miss what comes next, to share this with others who may need the same encouragement, and to keep nurturing your faith every day, for just as each dawn brings new light, may your spirit rise renewed with the fresh glow of morning, carried by the whisper of a gentle breeze, refreshed like water flowing from a living stream.